All right, let's kill some time.
So the thing, I'm really sick of getting on Instagram and, looking for artists to follow, looking for people to contact, and all I see is just boobs everywhere. I'm sick of all the erotic art. I'm sick of it.
I don't have a comment on that.
That's fine.
Why
Look,
are you following erotic artists?
if you want to look at porn, everybody, there's some great websites. There's Pornhub.
Why?
That's the biggest one I can think of. Don't you don't have to draw it. It's there. It's real.
Who's been drawing erotic art on your wall?
There
Why are
It
you
seems like
following them in
such
the
an
first
easy
place?
grab for people to come and look at your art is, oh, here's some boobs, here's a butt, here's a penis. It's all very pretty, isn't it? Huh? Don't you like it? Why don't you commission some more of it? And I think people that support that art are the worst kind of people.
Well, I just got on your Instagram. It looks like you're following Drawing Breast 22, Erotic Art 57. I feel like this is all your fault. I don't, I don't understand. Maybe you need to relook at your followers here.
Well, I don't understand. I'm just trying to find the fine line between fine art and just drawing a bunch of boobs. That's my whole life right now.
That I feel like you make a good point. That's something we need to have a broader talk about is when to draw breasts.
You know,
Because
let's talk about current events. I was watching Kim Jong Gi's live stream from Comic Con, and he was doing a live drawing, and someone in the audience asked what his favorite thing to draw is, and he said breast, and he was drawing them right there. And I don't know if I have an opinion on that, but it seems strange to me.
yeah, no, I do have an opinion on that. I think that there's a personal you and a private you, and sometimes you need to keep yourself to the personal you. um,
That's
no,
true.
I think there's several older artists that grew up looking at art from comics and like Frazetta style art, and seeing a lot of very busty women, and maybe I think that subconsciously they see it very sexually, but consciously they want to make some attempt to say, "Oh, I'm empowering this," or "This means something else. Let's talk about purity." And unless you do it in a really unsexual way, I don't think there's a way around what you were actually doing there.
Ugh. It's I get what you're saying about the art that was around them at the time. Like, I think about Spectrum, the guy that got the Grand Masters award, he was of that same group, where at the time fantasy art especially was all just half naked everything and really just almost grotesque erotic art, I would say, in the way that they portrayed it. And
Grotesque erotic art by Bear Isles.
it's a thing, and it's even more popular now than it was then, I would say. And uh
Hmm.
that upsets me in a way, but I guess I'll get over it. And it doesn't upset me in a political or moral way. Just the people that support it. Why are you supporting that instead of something intellectual or something that someone could benefit from? It gets at my
There's
core.
there's a couple paintings that Donato's done of naked women, and one of my favorites is actually Artemis, the Greek god of the hunt, and she is fully spread. I mean, you can see every well, not like to the camera spread, but her legs are spread. She's aiming that arrow. You can see it. You can see everything, and it's also like the least sexual thing in the world.
Well, I like I'm looking at that painting now,
Oh, are
and
you?
you're absolutely right. And it brings up a traditional debate between how the nude body is portrayed now and
Mhm.
a traditional way of how it was portrayed. Like you think of all the Greek sculptures and the nudity and the prevalence of it, and especially moving into the Renaissance.
Here's, and I might get the East and West part wrong. So here's something. Early Roman times, a lot of people wore nothing. Maybe they wore like a little thing just for decoration, or like a little, what do you call them? Loincloth. Early Greek and Roman times. And there was a period where, and if they did wear cloth, it was usually see-through or white. Nobody really cared. And as they progressed, there was an East and West. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the West or East, one side was richer than the other. Mm-hmm. And the poorer side began wearing clothes of different colors, drapery. And the upper class, the more artistic, decided what they called themselves the more artistic. They hated it. They were like, they knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to make them seem, they were hiding their figure in colors in a way to make themselves seem more attractive. And it made sense because, if you had like a larger person or maybe someone who wasn't as attractive to them, of course they would want to wear those clothings, right?
Yeah.
But it was seen as kind of like shameful because it's like, no, you're hiding who you really are. You're not really as attractive as you are in this black toga. Whether or not they were right or wrong, it used to be considered kind of taboo to wear clothes that would make your figure look anything but like a naked body.
It's interesting. And in the way it was portrayed in art then was a seemingly non-sexual way. You get a lot of sculptures, you like just walk around the Met. There's sculptures that are nude, but they're not sexual. It's just a pure expression of the human form. And then you see a lot of art now where the nude figure is the subject and they're in poses and context that's very suggestive. And they take the humanity out of it and they make it purely about sex.
Well, look at the Rape of Persephone, which is kind of a Renaissance sculpture, and it is really unsexualized.
Yes, and that's the great thing about it.
And also, I think that we live in a world where when we see naked bodies, though, they're usually in a provocative state. If you watch 100 movies, you'll think that a girl's back is always arched just right. And they're not in real life.
So, here's an interesting thing I just stumbled upon, and I got to thinking about it via Mad Men, when Roger gives Peggy Cooper's octopus print.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen Mad Men, we're talking about a print that is an octopus making love to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually a real print. It's a old Japanese print in a style I think is called shunga. And it's early 1800s. And to know that during that time, there's a group of artists in Japan doing prints of octopus making love to women. And now you flash forward Japan now. I think I saw one of those crazy Vice documentaries. They went inside of Japanese pornos, and a huge industry there is actually playing out that print that we're talking about. At the evolution of that through art, it's a crazy thing to think about.
Where are you going with that?
I didn't have an intended destination there.
You were just like, let me tell you about this.
This conversation got me onto that, and then that is life imitating art right there. That came true.
No, the Japanese have always been extremely taboo because of their kind of suppressed urge culture of wearing your kimono just right or things like that. It's always been that way. So of course they come out as like the craziest sexual things.
That is interesting.
Like, think of it. Every single person from age like 5 to 20 something has to wear a uniform at school in Japan today, and that's fucking crazy.
So what? Okay, if anyone went to their any social media account right now and just went to like Instagram has the search little magnifying find people option.
Cam on it.
If you just scroll through there by chance, you'll probably see either a very fit athletic man or a fit athletic woman doing something, yoga, working out. And that's also because I follow a lot of swimmers. But those trends, what you just talked about, the erotic art in Japan coming out of that kind of oppressive style that they have and put on them. How would you explain that now with all of the rise of erotic Instagram art and the rise of, I don't know, even you go to Art Basel down in Miami.
So here's a fun fact that I did not know, and I fought against believing it, but it's true. Our generation is having less sex than previous generations.
You know, I don't want it to be true, but I'm sure it is true because of the rise of internet porn and.
Well, you instantly want to fight against it because you're like, oh, well, Tinder, hookup culture. We're so open. We're clearly having more sex, and it's no, because it's so. Here's something. With Hugh Hefner's death. Not he didn't go deaf. He is actually dead. He can't hear, so he is deaf. But anyway, so when Playboy and the porn industry started coming up, rape went down a lot.
That's an interesting fact.
Because I don't know, it's the same. It's hard to talk about. It's the same way that like a woman walking along on the street with a homeless man walking behind her should suddenly maybe be a little afraid because he doesn't have access to pornography. Or any way to let his urges out in a productive manner.
That's a very realistic look at that situation, and I think that it should not go underappreciated. And in regards to Playboy, that's a testament to the power of the internet. I think 2 years ago they announced they were going to stop publishing porn.
Oh yeah, their sales went down because of Pornhub. Pornhub specifically like took their sales down. Not specifically, but they kind of dropped the business of Playboy.
And then you think of a website like that where access is free, and there are infinite other websites where access is free, and then these subscription-based services that you have to pay for.
We're
all over the place, but the main topic is still erotic art and how much I hate it.
Oh no, it makes sense. Will you make a better point? Well, I guess we're getting into a broader point, which is we are, as opposed to like the 60s and the 80s, even the 70s, we're a much more free people. We're much more free to express ourselves. I mean, the other day in Seattle, it was a hot day. I was walking down the street and there was a girl in her panties and bra just getting a suntan by a fountain, and nobody was bothering her. And that's in the middle of a downtown city. And you're like, well, she's not homeless. I guarantee that. She's just hanging out. And we're more open about those things. And maybe people feel like they can express themselves more. But you also want to expect that, like, maybe with the ability to express that nudity, you can kind of rise above it in a way. Because isn't that why we're more free anyway? Because we realize that everything's kind of bullshit.
I agree with that. And I think there's a way to express, just like we were talking earlier about the artist doing it, there's a way to personally express the human body that isn't so much sexual as it just is appreciation of the human body. And I think we lose a lot of that in pop culture, where it's all about being a sex idol and just pleasure instead of appreciating the incredible, unique gift that we have that is the human body. And I don't know, that it's the message gets mixed up there in a pursuit of money, I guess. I don't know.
But you also can't ignore it. I mean, there's that Kickstarter that came out. I forget what it was. It's the photographer just got a lot of naked women,
Hmm.
maybe celebrities. I know the lead singer of Dresden Dolls, Amanda, whatever, was on there. Anyway, what I'm getting to here is even if it's handled in a really good way, you can't. And he said it was handled in a really good way anyway. You can't ignore that kind of natural instinct. Like this is to me, if you publish a book of nothing but naked women, it's a form of pornography. You can say it's not pornography. You may not have intended it as pornography. No one may accept it as pornography, but it is a form. Otherwise, you wouldn't be making some sort of statement about it. It's some form of taboo, maybe I should say.
True, I agree. And I also think that it's true that it's slowly becoming less of a form of taboo, especially if as you start to look towards what's out there on the internet and in the media, is clothes start to become less just in general.
Less clothes.
Yeah, and it's just a cultural phenomenon, I guess, because
Yeah.
even in high fashion models, any fashion models that you see, it's all following this pattern of sexiness, I guess. Anyway,
Where are you going with the nude art thing? You're just so
I'm
upset
hot
about
about it.
it.
I'm
You
really
want to jump on Instagram and feel inspired, and
well. Look,
instead you're just getting nudity thrown at you.
that's not what it's so much about. It's about you think about a lot of people and what they like, and there's nothing like a nude girl or a nude guy to get you excited. And if you just painting that to paint it and get people excited, good for you. But in the long run, it's not progressive. It's not an end goal, a good end goal to have. But I
Yeah.
also think it's important to, at some point express yourself sexually and kind of, especially in today's modern culture, identify, where your desires are, and that's a healthy thing to do.
There's this painting that I think Scott Fisher did of a rabbit tackling a naked woman,
I think I've seen
and
the one.
it's it's not meant to be provocative, but there's a rabbit tackling a naked. It's not sexual. The rabbit's not trying to, or no, he's picking her up. I think the rabbit's not trying to molest the naked woman, but you're two steps away from the octopus there, and I like that piece actually for
I did.
for for a good, it's a good painting, and I think it's when you show someone naked, you're showing them in a vulnerable state. And there's a reason for that, or a powerful state, actually. The Geats mostly fought naked.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I have my thoughts about it. I'm probably different. I have different thoughts about it than you. I'll
That's
paint
fine.
naked people.
That's okay.
I paint. I've tried to paint a naked woman before.
Many times we've sat in front of a model and tried to paint her.
Just failed miserably. No. I'll push for it in my art if I really feel like it should be there. Because I think also if you have a scene and a character in a provocative pose, it's like don't shy away from it. Lean into it. If you want to be provocative, just lean into that. Don't try and hide that she's in a provocative pose.
Yeah, I guess I should make the point that don't censor your art just because I'm an asshole, but take
if
time
you want to
to
make a
think about
provocative painting, provocative doesn't have to be a bad thing. You're dealing with people's sexual instincts just like you deal with their anger, just like you deal with their sadness, and you shouldn't shy away from that. So if you want to say something that could be provocative to people. Yeah, Greg Manches has a painting of a dead girl. She's naked, lying in bed. I think she's dead or sleeping. I don't know. And her nudity parts are covered by a light bulb. It's handled really tastefully, and at the same time, it's provocative, and at the same time, it's a really good narrative. And it's like, yeah, that's a really good place to. He's using that nudity in a nude, provocative way, sexual way, I'll say, but it's not a bad thing because he knows he's doing it that way, and there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, use it, whatever.
Yeah, I totally agree. Use it. That's that's the whole part of being an artist, man. Like, it's the subtlety that I find so intriguing. If you can, and you definitely can elicit the same response using subtlety than just straight out putting two people in a canvas, clearly having sex. If you can use, like you talk about Manchase using the light, some sort of subtlety, and elicit the same response, I think it's even stronger.
I don't know.
Well, it's like you just hinted something, and then the imagination takes over, and it grows from there. I think that's a very beautiful thing.
We were walking through Walmart one day. I was like maybe 18, and it was when Jessica Alba was just becoming like a figure. I don't know where she is now, but I think she had just been in the Fantastic Four, and I liked her. Not as like a sex idol, but I liked her as an actress. I thought she was beautiful. And there were, Walmart has these posters, and there was a picture of her on the cover of Rolling Stone, and she's wearing like short pants and this cut off white shirt. And I wanted the poster, so I grabbed it. And my dad's walking with me. I was like, yeah, I want this poster. And he looks at it, and he just for 3 seconds looks at it, and then he goes, she doesn't leave much to the imagination, does she? And it's like, oh, you're right. He as someone who, he's a farmer, he doesn't think much about art or, I guess, symbology of sexism, things like that. But he knew, he was like, this would be better if she were more clothed. It would be more of a sexual thing, a better sexual thing if she were more clothed.
That leads into a funny thing, and of course I have to reference college swimming as I do in every episode, but as I came upon my senior year college swimming, the workout clothing craze for women started to become more of just wearing the sports bra and the compression shorts to the gym.
Oh, I know, I hate it.
And I mean, I hate seeing guys in the cutoff t-shirts that let me see just their whole torso. I think that's a little much, but anyway, he enforced a dress code when we went to the gym because it was, of course we were swimmers. We didn't really care. Like,
yeah, you're naked all the time.
We were actually naked all the time, and we have just a very general perception when it comes to viewing other people naked. But we used the university weight room, which all athletes came to train at. So the dress code was, don't leave anything to the imagination. That was the only rule.
Don't leave anything to the imagination?
Or leave something to the imagination. Don't wear anything that wouldn't leave something to the imagination.
Yeah. I hear you.
So, one loose thing. But that goes back into art, as in, even if it's not an erotic piece, you want to leave a little imaginative something there to make the viewer not only want more, but wonder more. Like, what is going on here? Even in your fantastical pieces, that's what I do when I look at those portraits you've been doing.
I wonder, what do you actually think about that? Like, shouldn't someone be allowed to wear their sports bra and tight shorts to the gym if they want?
Oh, I honestly don't care. Like, I was a swimmer.
Right.
I wore a Speedo every single day. I wore less than the girls did. So
right. It doesn't faze you.
It doesn't faze me. And then we were a unique swim team in that, if most of you don't know, a lot of swim teams, especially Division I, are like every other team on a campus. They're split up. There's a men's coach. There's a women's coach. They're totally different teams. When I was in college, my team had one coach, and the men and women were both one team pretty much. So we spent every second with each other. There was nothing weird about it. Like, we just saw each other every day in our swimsuits, and that was it, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I get it. Well, somebody asked me one time. They said, why do you wear shorts over your tights?" And I said, "Well, when I go to the gym, sorry, not on a regular basis."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I got to leave some." No, what did I say? I can't. It wasn't anything funny. I was just like, "Well, I wanted to keep a little bit of dignity. Nobody needs to see all of that." And they were like, "Oh, I just wear my tights." And it was a girl, and I was like, "Oh, that's nice. I don't really want to see that." I don't know. That, and you're not supposed to wear underwear with tights, so it's like this hygiene thing.
That's how I treat it. I treat my tights as underwear. You know, I've worn leg suits swimming, and I've worn Speedos, and then when I go to the gym now, even I wear my tights and then I wear my shorts. I guess for me, it's just a comfort thing.
It's a comfort thing. I don't like sweatpants. I don't like how they feel baggy.
So look, I think that's full circle back into our erotic art conversation, that we both had a traditional Southern upbringing, and we are more comfortable wearing shorts over our tights.
So you're saying that we're unlearned?
I don't know about that.
We're hicks.
You know, there's always this moral divide. You see the hashtags and the protest on the internet about
free the nipple,
the body movement, and then on the other side of that, I don't want to say conservative because I don't want to relate it to the political ideology, but you want to, you know, cover up a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I don't go shirtless in public. Should women be allowed to like undress on the beach? Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. You know, at a 5-star restaurant, I don't have my shirt off either. So, you know,
I guess that's the weird thing about us is we're approaching it from a really innocent perspective, and I wish everyone could do that.
I think we were talking about like you can't ignore those sorts of things. That's why you have to be tentative about it in your art, because whether or not you want to, when you draw a naked woman, you are in the realm of sexual provocation, and that you can't ignore it. You're making a mistake if you ignore it. If you draw a naked woman and say, well, she's not sexual, then you're wrong.
I agree.
To somebody.
I feel it's necessary to say that you and I are also biased because we're men. We're straight men.
Straight men, right.
We've drawn more naked women than we have men, even though I've drawn my fair share of anatomically correct penises.
So, anyway, what I'm saying is if I'm at a beach and a girl strips down to her birthday suit, then suddenly there's this like sexual thing there, no matter what, because I'm a straight male. And I think you have to feel the same thing out in art. So if you want to know my personal belief, that's it. I think that okay, there's a coffee stand here. They have these I don't know if you've heard about these. So because people spend a lot of time in traffic at work, there's these drive-through coffee stands. You drive in and they give you a coffee and you drive out. It's really cool. There's no walk-in.
Huh. I like it.
It's quick, it's easy. Anyway, there's one where girls wear bikinis, and somebody told me about this. I was like, no fucking way. It's like 40 degrees out. I got to go see this. So I drive up there, and you know, it's just high school, college level girls, like late high school. They must have to be 18 or something, but they're just really kind of wearing bathing suits, or like bras, like sports bras or something. Anyway, as you're driving through, I was thinking, man, if it's like 6 in the morning and it's cold, I don't want to think about this. I just wanted some coffee, you know? Like there's no reason for me to see a naked woman while I'm getting my coffee.
I think that plays right back into pop culture with like Twin Peaks and Hooters and all these restaurants with scantily clad women. Don't let it get into my coffee zone, man. I don't want to go to my coffee spot and find naked women.
Yeah, I don't want my mind to switch.
I don't want
be
to find
thinking about-
naked anything at wherever I'm eating.
Right, that's true. I don't want to be eating and suddenly see a half-naked woman. Who decided that beer, wings, and naked women went so well together? That's like the terrible combination.
Oh, man, I've gone to Buffalo Wild Wings many times with the hopes of having satisfaction and just being totally disappointed every single time.
It's true. You really want there to be everyone likes the idea of chicken wings, right? I'm gonna make a sex analogy but talk about food. Okay.
I think everyone does that.
Here we go. Everyone likes the idea of like chicken wings, barbecue or otherwise, right?
Mhm.
Boneless, whatever.
Yes.
Everyone likes beer. You got to put them together, right? You got to have chicken wings and beer.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, no matter how much money you spend on those chicken wings, either you're going to want more chicken wings and it's never enough. You know, it really is never enough. And you're going to feel bad. It's never enough and you're going to feel bad.
You're going to feel really bad.
You're going to go back home. You're going to Google the calorie count for chicken wings, which is actually pretty okay. But you're going to see the fat intake and you're going to be like, wow, I'm upset at myself. I'm upset for drawing that naked woman and eating those chicken wings.
It's time to get into chicken wing art. That's an unexplored territory. Anyone, you can grab that idea free of charge. Chicken wing art.
100% chicken wing art.
Get into it. I'm encouraging you to do it and get back to me.
I feel like someone should draw a naked woman sitting on a chicken wing.
You'd
a
win.
Giant one with a beer behind her.
You would win. I promise you.
That's like an ad from the 50s or something. It's like a pinup ad for Hooters.
It's time for that circle to come back, I guess, and then we can all be disappointed.
What's up with the new rise of like pinup art too? Now that we're talking about nudity, I like pinup art.
You know, everything's cyclical, and it's also, I think South Park nailed it on the head with member berries. It's all about nostalgia. People are nostalgic for something less simple than how complicated we've gotten with social media and the internet. But come on, guys. The internet's so much fun. Join in.
Huh? You just want them to be on here to listen to our podcast.
Join the internet so you can listen to our podcast.
You know, we have Steve Buscemi on today.
Yeah, Steve's coming on here in a minute.
No, he's been here. He's actually really, I got him. I called him up. Surprisingly, he answered. He wasn't doing anything else. He's here. He's just real.
He's shy.
He was so into it. You know, he was so excited, but when I press the record button, he's really nervous. He won't say it. Steve?
Hey, Steve.
Come on, man. Just say something. Steve.
Well, I hope Steve knows how much I appreciate him playing a role in the new Philip K. Dick TV adaptation. You know, he may say something in the next couple of minutes. We'll see.
He's just really nervous. He's a real modest and humble guy too. He won't say anything.
Well, you know, later in the comments when we get more fans, y'all just be sure to thank Steve for coming out today. There's a lot of work.
Tweet at Steve. He does read his tweets. He told me before the podcast.
Everybody tweeted him.
Make him feel better. He's just in the corner. He's so shy.
Poor guy.
Oh, this is hanging out. This is what our usual call is.
Yeah, we're hanging out, guys. This is nothing new. You know.
Thanks for listening to us while you paint. And if you're not painting,
then shame on you.
Really, for real.
Or if you're not painting, then you know, Yvonne, especially, I know you're listening. Shout out for listening to our podcast, even though you don't care about it.
Yeah, thanks for listening, even if you don't care. Who do you think the favorite is? Which one of us do you think is the fan favorite?
Uh, Definitely Alex.
Alex has the least listens.
That's oh, then Mark?
Do you? Oh yeah, it's clearly Mark. What what do you think people are going to think about your nudity talk? Do you think we're going to get a lot of flack for that? I think if people listen to it, they're going to,
Well,
to
look,
not
if
like it.
anyone's listening to this and they're offended, I'm sorry, but this is something that has to be addressed and we all feel something about because we all take a shower every day and we have to look at our naked bodies. And then we go out and we look at media, the movies, the music videos, the news. There are naked bodies everywhere. We have to address it.
Maybe we don't, man. Maybe it's just cool.
No,
Maybe nudity is just fine.
I refuse to let anything pass. Everything that happens has to be addressed and directed and identified.
You have to come. You have to come to terms with it. You yourself and Steve Buscemi.
I do in culture. We can't let anything go unchecked. That's ridiculous.
I like to go. I like to let things go unchecked.
That
Let
is
it
why
slide.
you are the enemy.
You wanted to say something else. PG-13. You
trying to
can't get
keep
into a
that
host fight.
Non-explicit rating, but
Look,
we're not going to be able
listen.
to
Hey,
avoid it.
wait. I like that
Mm.
art you've been putting out. You really have caught a stride lately.
I have. This weekend was a little bit of a hitch up. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but this week I'm going to put out at least 4 or 5 more pieces.
The rain jacket piece was really something.
Did you like it? I've been trying to take some. So my process is really fun. I take pictures that I have that I've taken over the years, and I work off of a couple sketches of that, and then just kind of decide where I want the piece to go from there. And it's just been really fun.
I like your new thing. Like you're slowly adding. You're making them more complex and dynamic. Like, oh, what happens if I put a low opacity mist in front of this? And it really worked out.
Yeah, that's definitely been a goal, is just getting more complex with each piece. And
no, I like I still like the kind of almost Japanese print simplicity that you go for, but adding like almost a transparent cutout that could represent the wind and rain was really nice. Do more of that.
That's definitely where I'm coming from. I mean, some of my favorite films are 47 Ronin and Seven Samurai. You know, my dad introduced me to those, and that led me to Japanese prints. So anytime I get to play in that space, and even now, every piece I'm trying to add a little bit more complexity, and I love it. The challenge is fun, the work is fun, and challenging myself to get it out in a day is fun.
Yeah, it's weird how I started doing that and then stopped doing it because I didn't want to do it anymore. And now you're beating me. You're like, Alan couldn't do it. I bet I can.
Well, not so much that, is just everything came together at a point where I said, okay, I can do this now. I know I can because I already have. So nothing's stopping me from making a drawing a day except for myself.
That's the coolest feeling, because process comes in and you know you can dig yourself out of any hole with process. I sent you a picture on Facebook of my recent painting. Did you get it?
I bet you did.
Oh, did I not?
Let me look. You did.
I did. So now when I do underpaintings, I don't know if you can see it. So like,
I see.
I threw a lot of random ass textures in there, and then went and did some gradient maps that are just kind of random. And I'm probably going to do something else to it. Like, I like doing that now because I know that I can, like, I look at that face or I look at a hand and I'm like, I don't care where this goes. As long as I know where the landmarks are, I can paint myself out of here. I don't care if this works or not. Let's try it out.
I think this will be fantastic, man.
And I feel really confident that I can just, maybe those colors seep in there.
Maybe the audience can't see it, but the contrast here is what I think you were missing on your underpaintings before.
Yeah. So basically I just throw random shit down, random colors, kind of random, and try and get some form of chaos in my underpainting to paint myself out of, because I can confidently paint it. The way I see it, if I can confidently paint a portrait in a white space in like a white piece of paper, then it should be no problem for me to paint on top of anything else. So yeah, it doesn't matter what's there. The
Together.
colors are gonna do the same thing if I want them to, or I can use it. Doesn't matter.
I want the foot to come up one step, but that's my only critique. Everything else is great here.
A foot can't come up one step.
Oh,
You can't reach that far.
yeah, no, just if that bottom foot comes up on the first step, that's perfect.
Oh,
And
you
it's
mean the
extended
bottom
all the
foot?
way.
You need
Yeah,
to lean onto that step.
if it's just on the first step there, where the
Yeah.
line is.
Like he's actually putting the weight on his arm. It's really
Yeah,
hard.
like he has it split between the two legs and the one arm. And
Yeah.
then he has the perfect triangle of balance to make that shot. I'm sorry, listeners, you can't see this, but
Anyway.
I'm seeing it for the first time.
Anyway, don't worry about it. No, yeah, I like to throw in a lot of random shit. That's process. You always fall back on process to dig you out of those holes. So
There you go, everyone. I won't lie, building a process has been the most important part for me, because just before just making art is one thing, but once you have your own process, that's a whole another story.
yeah, then you can do anything. You're like, oh, I can do this. So what happens if I do that? No matter how simple the process is.
You really can. You find a lot of people that look at more successful people than they are with jobs, and they ask, how did that person get here? Well, it's once they perfected that process, and then they had something that they knew what they could do with.
Yeah, then you can start doing weird stuff. It's like, oh, if I can paint one portrait, what that means I can paint 2 portraits. Now I know I can paint 50 portraits right now if I want to, and it's going to be easy. And then it's like, well, what happens if I paint a portrait with a hood on, or with a light source here or a light source there? You know,
Yep.
you can do it.
Absolutely.
You know, you start juggling one ball, and then you know you can juggle 2 balls.
And then from there, you stop juggling and you start making money.
Yeah, sit down and get back to painting if you're
Please stop juggling. Then the fad is over.
So
You know
so far we've got quit juggling, quit doing nude art. For some reason, I'm gonna draw a naked woman today, just for you.
It's all good advice, honestly.
A naked woman juggling. That's what I'm gonna draw for you.
That would be okay.
Why is that okay?
What's she juggling? Context is always important. Let's
Dagger.
make a third point. Always establish context.
Yeah, always establish context. If
Um,
it's Sailor Moon in a bikini, no one wants that.
That's all I can really ask for. I look at so many things and it's just to say why.
Why?
I look at my own art every day and say, why? Why are you doing this?
And then you lay down, you drink a whole bottle of vodka for a while, and then
I draw something else and I say, this is great. Put it on Instagram.
yeah, you do that. You do that. You call me sometimes in a drunken blur. I'm gonna put it on Instagram.
I got it. I got the one fix.
That's how I feel when I add something to Instagram. Just do it. Just do it before I stop myself. Take 3 shots before you do it.
Really? I mean, I just do it. Like, it's a
Yeah.
thing that I do.
Yeah, we don't encourage heavy drinking on the podcast.
It's a bad idea, honestly. It'll set you back in your work.
In your weight, in your work, in
If
your health.
you want to know anything about drinking, just read Islands in the Stream by Ernest Hemingway, and that will turn you off of it for quite a while.
Of course. And that's why you shouldn't read it. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that I promote that we work from home and don't. What do you what? I'm gonna try and get a painting done in a few days here.
Do you think you will?
I do. I think 100% I will. I'm already halfway done.
It's about
That's-
time. The audience is ready ever since you've done your tutorials, and I think that you should at least
gotta
record
record.
some part of doing this or document.
Well,
what
I
you've
got
done.
2 separate recordings on hands, and now every time I paint a hand, I record it and talk over it. So I'm gonna have like a whole thing on how I paint hands. It's gonna be like 10 different hands. Everyone's
This
gonna love it.
this painting, you should at least do a 20-30 minute video of, different steps in the process.
I think what I should have done is when I was planning, I was really on crunch time, but I want to do a composition painting where where a tutorial where I actually plan a composition before I commit, because a lot of people have trouble with composition, and it's really the simplest thing to learn. I mean, I see really, really advanced artists who have trouble with composition or who do really simple composition, and I'm not the best. I'm not the best, especially on this painting I'm working on right now. I'm trying to challenge myself out of it, actually, but I know some composition. It's like it came natural to me, and I don't know. I mean, I do know how. I've been looking at it for so long, but anyway.
No, it's certainly an important thing and definitely an overlooked thing. I don't think a lot of artists now, especially in school, composition painting was never really stressed. So it's a subject that's extremely important, but not a lot of people pay attention to.
It's just like paint this, paint that.
Yeah, that's another problem with painting straight from a photo reference, is you start to lose your concept of composition unless it was a reference that you specifically staged and took the photos of.
Right. Yeah.
But other than that, if you're just painting straight from reference, you lose all ideas on composition.
Well, sometimes when you find a photo, it's a good photo with a good composition, but usually that composition just means that it's a face that's straightforward, with some space around it.
Right.
It's the type of composition you saw in like Rembrandt. Rembrandt was not, in his portraits, a master of composition. In other things, he was really good. But
The Night Watch.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh God.
I don't like that painting.
I know you don't.
No, I think that people talk about in college. You talk about college. You're taught about asymmetry and symmetry and different color and space and things like that. And it's like, yeah, but nothing is that simple.
No.
Setting up, yeah, you can set up an asymmetry composition, but a 5-year-old can understand asymmetry. So, use everything else. Everything.
Well, that's the great part of being an artist, especially a painter, is you have all of the tools at your disposal. Whatever image you create, you can utilize architecture and design and color theory and philosophy, and you can create an entire message through one image. So you're not limited to just, what pretty painting can I make today? Like, you have all of the tools at your disposal.
Well, even if you're painting from photograph, you can use like your own idea.
Yeah.
Like you can really pack. I love doing this when I paint flowers. Really pack the detail in one area and make everything else brushy. Jeremy Mann does a good job of that. Jeremy Mann's really good at composition.
Everyone go look at Jeremy Mann. Watch that. What's that documentary called?
I think it's just Art of Man. No, I don't know.
It's a good one. I recommend everyone go check that out.
It's really good to see him just paint. I want to watch that again. Man, he really.
Well, that comes with
I don't care for
identity.
like drawing 100 different portraits of kind of abstractly done women, but man, he's a good painter. Really good.
I found that it was in his confidence, the way that he approached everything. His landscapes, especially, he just walked into it and said, "This is it."
Yeah, it reminds me of where is it? Like, let me type it in. I think it's Antigone. Reminds me of the way Antigone painted.
What I think with him, and if I'm not mistaken, he had an abstract background and then came back later to perfect his figurative work, right?
Yeah, Jeremy was like us. He only got taught abstract and then went back and was like, I want to do figures. I miss it. It's a lot better than like Vanessa Lemon. Man, I guess we have to X that out of the podcast now that I said it.
Why?
A lot of people like Vanessa Lemon.
That's fine.
No, she's a good painter. She's just not Jeremy Mann. The guy tapped into this intuitive, visceral, natural expression and is just once in a century thing, you know?
What's uh, what I really appreciate about Jeremy Mann is his understanding of the fundamentals. Like he really gets composition, he really gets color theory, he really gets practical application of the paint, and now he's combining all of that. Like if there's one thing I could recommend to anyone is at least study color theory and get that part down, because that's going to be a huge part of everything that you do.
Yeah, color theory is really weird.
It is weird, and it's satisfying to understand.
It's weird because you can have colors that look darker or lighter than other colors, even if they're the same tone.
It's extremely complex.
When you get into that, man, you're really getting into something.
And if you're a painter and you don't study color at all, then I'm sorry. Like you're probably not producing anything of pretty, at least.
Well, Photoshop makes it where you don't have to really. I mean, gradient maps are really cool.
They are. It's a
do
great
something
tool.
in black and white and turn on some gradient maps and make it a full painting.
I'm a complete advocate of using Photoshop to its fullest capacity. Like, to cheat as much as you want in Photoshop, because it's not cheating. You're using the tools at hand, but it'll show in the end if you don't have a full grasp of what you're trying to communicate.
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, everybody.
What's going on? What are you gonna do today? You can tell that I'm done with the podcast. I'm thinking about my painting now. Sorry.
Me too. That's a beautiful part of all of this, is everything leads back to our own work, and that's how it should be for everyone. I think whatever you do in life, those experiences lead back to work. Anyway, I'm hanging out here in Franklin, Tennessee. It's a cloudy day. It's warm. It's muggy.
We did. You know what? We turned on the heat for the podcast today, and you know why? Because it's really cold here.
We got real. We're trying to heat Alan up.
Extremely cold. It's like 40 degrees.
Prove to our huge audience how real we are.
Yeah, really cold.
What's going on in Seattle?
Not much. I'm gonna try and sit inside. I'm gonna do some grilling. That's gonna be nice. I got some steaks. I'm gonna grill them in a second here for my weekly meals.
Nice.
Did some great stuff in the gym. Oh, we had a book signing.
What about that?
I had to go help Sean Speakman, who's in charge of Grim Oak Press. Really good system he's got going there. He brings in authors and artists to sign books, and so I got to meet Patrick Rothfuss and Dan Dos Santos. I've met him before, but to really hang out with him, and that was really cool.
Nice.
So,
little inside scoop there. That's always a good experience, and you met some good people.
Yeah, it doesn't seem I'm excited about it, but I am. I'm still recovering from the gym. No, it was really good. It's nice to this is weird. Like 2 years ago, all I wanted to do was talk about art. And don't get me wrong, I still just want to sit and talk about art. But just getting a chance to hang out with artists and see them as people is good on another level, because you're learning about their everyday lives, which is just as important.
Right.
What does Dan Dos Santos do in his spare time? What does he do with his kids? What kind of movies does he like? You know, those are things that create a man just as much as his artistic ability.
Yep.
Never.
I would say more so.
Don't meet your heroes, though.
Don't meet your heroes.
Don't do that. We're huge advocates of that.
Don't be your heroes. Be you.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Don't try and be anybody. What?
Let your heroes influence you, but in the end, be you.
Is it Columbus Day? Columbus Day?
Columbus Day. A lot of people aren't recognizing it. That's okay.
Yeah, the school, who is recognizing it? USPS, because they're not picking up packages today. So
those jerks.
Yeah, screw the USPS.
Everyone, tweet at United States Postal Service. Tell them to get over it.
Tell him to come pick up Todd's packages that I have to mail.
Don't they get enough federal holidays throughout the year? Columbus Day, come on, who cares?
Yeah, so people aren't supporting it because Columbus was not a great man at all. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm all in. I don't care. I really
should
don't care
definitely
about
just
Columbus,
change-
everybody.
I like holidays. They should change the name of the holiday to like Fall Day or something.
Just change it to we didn't want to go to work or school today, so here you go.
The schools here are still going. It sucks.
Kelsey's at school right now. Imagine how mad your wife would be if you were at home recording a podcast with your art friend.
Art friend.
Okay,
Is that what I am, D?
let me clarify. Everyone, Alan Morris was the best man at my wedding.
Steve Buscemi just left the room. He was so offended.
I don't think there's any more I need to say about that, really. Like,
All you did was harass me. You and the other groomsmen just berated me the whole time.
I didn't. They did. I was busy getting
The
married.
best man to berate. Yeah, I didn't see you at your wedding.
I didn't see myself. I looked in the mirror once when I shaved on Saturday morning, and the rest of the time, I didn't even know who I was.
You got married on Saturday, right?
I got married on Saturday.
It was a Saturday. That must have been horrifying to shave before your wedding. And like, anytime I shave before a big event, I'm thinking like, oh, if I cut myself today, it's all ruined.
No, because Derek and I woke up in the same bed, and we were both very hungover, and I didn't care about anything that happened until about lunch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were just kind of doing the I brought you coffee.
You brought me coffee. I was just going through the motions, watching Bagger Vance, Legend of Bagger Vance. If you haven't seen that, that's a great movie. Matt Damon, Morgan Freeman.
Your dad came in.
No, Will Smith. Why did I say Morgan Freeman? That makes me look like a bad person. I'm sorry, everyone.
Was it not Morgan Freeman?
It was Will Smith.
I thought it was Matt Damon.
And Matt Damon. And that little kid and that one actress whose name escapes me at the moment. I'm looking bad all around.
I watched Baby Driver, greatest movie in the world. If you haven't seen Baby Driver, go watch it right now. Greatest cinematography, compositions out of this fucking world. The narrative of the story was like Breaking Bad condensed all the way down into like a 1.5 hour thing, and also 10 times better. I cannot give it enough praises. I think it might be the best movie I've ever seen. It might be the best thing I've ever seen.
I'm so excited. I'm going to watch it this week, with or without Kelsey.
I've never given a movie such high praise. Watch it by yourself. You need to. And then pretend you didn't watch it and watch it with Kelsey.
I've done that with a lot of movies. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, she's never going to listen. So
I'm all about honesty. I think we're going to go see Blade Runner in IMAX on Tuesday. Cheap movie night.
Yeah, I want to see it, but I don't know.
I want to see it.
I have to paint.
The Android's Dream of Electric Sheep is probably my favorite book of all time, so I can't not see it. The original Blade Runner was disappointing, but at least this might be a little fun.
Yeah, I hope it. I don't know, but Android's Electric Sheep was just the first part to more books, right? I think it was. There's more books in that series, or am I wrong?
I think you're wrong, man.
I've been wrong 100 times this week. I can be wrong again.
It's only been 2 days into the week.
Yeah, I make a lot of decisions.
I make a lot of decisions. I'm looking at right now. The Android's Dream of Electric Sheep was the inspiration for Blade Runner because Richard Decker was a Blade Runner. Yeah, that was the only one, man. Come on.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he made a ton of science fiction novels.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely sure. I'm sure a bunch of other people tried to bastardize his content, but I'm sure that was the only one that Philip K. Dick made.
Really?
Yes. Because it ended definitely. There was no return. Like, that was it.
Oh, what happens at the end?
At the end, Richard Decker is just like, this sucks, life sucks, everything sucks.
Huh.
No, he had a realization, but it was the last one.
Okay. Yeah, it says there are sequels, but they weren't done by him.
Yeah,
It says they're official, and they're
that's-
written by Dick's friend K.W. Jeter.
I don't accept that as official. That's like saying if I did a painting after you died
But
in your name and said,
yeah,
you know, this might as well be one of his paintings.
well,
And
no, I don't think it was done after he died. I don't know. There's not, they don't say much about it.
they don't say much about it.
But apparently, they were published after Blade Runner to try and reconcile the differences between the movie and the book. So,
Oh, then that was a very obvious marketing ploy.
yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. Man, thanks for hanging out, guys.
We love everyone.
We talked about sex. We talked about nudity and art. We talked about what else did we talk? We talked about painting. We talked about what we were doing.
Talked about what we were doing. We talked about Philip K. Dick, who, if you haven't read any of his novels, go now. I suggest you don't start with The Scanner
Don't
Darkly.
do that. Just go read Blade Runner. Go. Baby Driver.
Go see Baby Driver
Right now.
at your house.
Pull it up right now. Stream it, torrent it, pirate it. It deserves. It's such an amazing piece of art. It deserves to be seen by everyone, mandatory and for free.
Alan said pirate it. I say go rent it, Redbox,
You can't rent
whatever.
it yet. You can't get it.
Oh, then hang on until you can get it.
Pirate that shit, and then buy it. Buy it when it comes out. Pirate it and then buy it.
Yeah, that's what we say. I'll agree on that. Thanks
It's
for
fun.
hanging out, everybody.
Well,
I'm Bear.
Hey,
What? What do you want?
how do you make a Tom Collins?
Okay, everyone. Tom Collins. You're gonna go 2 ounces gin. I prefer Tanqueray. It's got a little bit more of a floral, a little bit more of a junipy taste to it. You can go with Beefeater. If you have money, get Hendrix. That'll be very clean.
Mm-hmm.
2 ounces of gin.
Yeah.
You're gonna go half of a lemon squeezed. You want that juice. You want half an ounce of simple syrup. You're gonna shake that violently. Then you're gonna pour it into a Collins glass with ice.
Shake it in ice. Or you
Yeah,
shake it.
Shake it with ice.
Uh-huh.
Pour it into a Collins glass that already has ice in it, and then you're gonna top it off with a maraschino cherry, a lemon wedge, and club soda. Pour club soda right on top of that.
Okay.
And that'll be perfect. It'll taste amazing. It'll be crisp. It'll be clean. It'll cleanse you.
All right. And what would you suggest as like a Halloween fall drink?
Halloween or fall drink, this is going to depend on your preferences. If you're a whiskey drinker, if it's cool where you are, it's really hard to beat a good old fashioned or a good Manhattan, depending on
Don't
you
tell
like.
people to make old fashions. Don't tell they're gonna fucking up. Don't tell them.
They won't do a great job.
If you're gonna make an old fashioned, make it right. I am furious at the amount of times I have gone to places, ordered an old fashioned, and gotten what is clearly not an old fashioned. Okay. Firstly,
Give them the
an old
rundown.
fashioned is not made with orange juice. If you make
There
it
you
with
go.
orange juice, I'm coming to your house.
Tell them how to make it, man.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to promote it. You can make a Manhattan. It's easy. You can't mess it up.
Okay, look, Alan's not gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. You want to make an old fashioned? Look, everybody, is really easy. Get a glass. In that glass, put half an ounce of simple syrup.
No,
A maraschino cherry.
you can do sugar. I do sugar
But-
cubes.
You can put a sugar cube. That's fine. Put an orange slice. Now, and also a lemon wedge. What you're gonna want to do is muddle that. That's gentle, kind of pressing, kind of swishing around. Get all the juices out. Fill that with ice. Put 2.5 ounces of bourbon in there. Stir it up really good, and then pour that into an old-fashioned glass that's already filled with ice. And you know what? That's gonna be delicious. It's gonna change your life.
A lot of people are going to try it. A lot of people are gonna
Fail.
they're gonna drink it and they're gonna be like, "This just tastes like bourbon, and I don't like it." And they're
If you
going
don't like whiskey, make yourself a French 75. That's really good for cold weather, and it's
Oh
a
my
gin
God.
drink.
Don't
You'll like
just
it.
no.
Thanks for hanging out. I'm Bear at Bear the Painter, BearIslesArt.com.
Don't email me. Don't call me. Don't visit me. Alan Morris, AlanMorrisArt.com. If you have any critiques about our sexual talk, you can find us at hangingoutpodcast@gmail.com. Talk to us on Facebook. Join the conversation. Hanging out with Bear and Alan at Facebook.com. I can't think of anything else to say. I gotta go to get to work. You guys, you gotta go get to work. You gotta learn to
Everybody's
juggle.
got to get to work. Come on, guys.
Eat some chicken wings.
Eat chicken wings, drink Manhattans, and paint every day.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.